Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface, and this week I've been bringing you some Raid Boss 101 videos. Yesterday I actually did a Raid Boss 101 special, where I did the Earth, Wind and Fire achievement in 10-person Vault of Archivon. Today I'm going to start with part 1 of a Raid Boss 101 special in Naxxramas 25, because when I used to raid properly, hardcore, back in Wrath of the Lich King, I run my own guild and we did Naxxramas 10, and one of the achievements which I'm most proud about is getting the Undying, and the Undying achievement was managing to defeat every single boss in Naxxramas under a single raid lockout without a single solitary person dying on any of the boss encounters. And it used to be a pretty hard achievement to get. So when we got it, and we actually got it when Naxxramas was the main raid, I was really, really happy. It was a moment, a memory within my WoW life that I look back upon really, really fondly indeed. Sadly, both the Undying and the Immortal titles were removed from the World of Warcraft. You could no longer get it. If you'd already got it, you kept them, of course. But if you wanted to get them after Cataclysm, they were actually taken out of the game. And because I wasn't raiding 25-person difficulty at the time, I never got the Immortal title. And it's not something I had ever had the opportunity to do. So, you know me. I like to do my Raid Boss 101s and whatnot. And I've brought you some Raid Boss 101 encounters from Naxxramas, but from Naxxramas 10. So I thought, look, let's go into Naxxramas 25 and see if I can actually do the Immortal achievement, or what would have been the Immortal achievement, going through all the Raid Boss encounters in 25-person difficulty without a single person, i.e. moi, dying. And so I'm starting off today with the first two wings, as I'm bringing you all the boss encounters as they happen. You can have a look at the clock, but there's no cause for me to lie, of course. You know, there's no point in me showing you all the trash. But I do have all the footage of the raid from start to finish. I do nip outside after every wing, unload my bags full of all the crap, which I pick up from the boss. I had like 71 slots available, or 61 odd slots available. And by the time I've done a single wing of Naxxramas, it's down to like 20. I pick up all manner of rubbish. But the first wing, which we used to call the spider wing, was ridiculously easy, and I was actually quite surprised. But one of the things which it really highlighted to me is, because I started doing the Raid Boss 101 videos in Mists of Pandaria itself, I was really, really shocked at how my character has progressed throughout the course of this X-Pack, and I mean how powerful it has become. Because I do recall at the beginning of Mists of Pandaria, I believe I came into Naxxramas 25 and just had a bit of a fool around. And I wouldn't say it was massively difficult, but I do remember having to run away from patchwork. I don't know if it's because I didn't have my setup correct or what, but I do recall whatever setup I was using, I had to run. I had to run and leave the instance, otherwise patchwork would have munched me. I think I just bypassed all the ads in the beginning as well, so when I pulled Naxxramas, when I pulled patchwork, it actually pulled all the abominations which I'd left behind as well. They all came running in, and I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And so I just legged it. But now it was ridiculously easy, and there are a couple of bosses which I come across where I wouldn't say I had a problem. But they did prove to be a wee bit problematic. But another thing which made me come back into here was nostalgia. And, you know, my feelings about Mists of Pandaria are pretty much out there. I think it's by far, and I do mean by far, the worst X-Pack that we've had so far in the World of Warcraft. And I'm very happy that Blizzard have decided to whiz through the patches as quickly as possible. I think, without admitting it, they realise it, and they're trying to get this X pack over and done with ASAP before they hemorrhage any more of their subscription base. So that's fine in my book. But Naxxramas, I do recall, I did it so many times. I said to myself, I'm never, ever coming back here again. Never. And yet, there is a pull. There is this nostalgic pull which keeps me coming back to this place. Not every week by any stretch. Oh, good grief, no. But it's just that thing. After a while, when you haven't done something for a while, you kind of look back and you're like, do you know something? I really wouldn't mind going there. And last night, and I don't dream a lot about WoW. It's very, very rare indeed that I actually dream about WoW. Sometimes maybe if I've been doing a heavy leveling session or something like that, then I'll go to sleep and I'll start questing in my dreams. But it is a very rare occurrence. And last night, when I was falling asleep, I started to have a dream about, not a Martin Luther King one, but I started to have a dream about doing Nax 25 solo. So when I woke up this morning, I thought, yeah, do you know what? We're going to do that. We're actually going to do that. And I just thought it'd be pretty cool. Now, another thing as well is, I know I'm item level 546, which is, it's alright, it's decent, it's not great. It's not bad though, it's not bad by any stretch. And I was thinking to myself, you know, if I can do this with relative ease, if I can go through Naxxramas 25 with relative ease, not die on any of the bosses, then surely to goodness it would give other people hope. It would give other people the potential thought to say, look, okay, Azza's done it, why can't I give it a crack, you know? So it doesn't matter if you're item level 500, item level 520, item level 484, why don't you just give it a try? Why don't you set yourself that wee goal and say, right, I'm going to see how far I can go through Naxxramas 25 without dying. Just getting your tactics right. I mean, like for Thaddius, on this boss, for example, what you have to do is you have to grab the two ads and they've got to die within like 15 seconds of each other, something like that. So if you don't do that, then they, you know, stick at one and it can get come back to life and just be a little bit problematic. But like, when I did my Raid Boss 101 video on Thaddius, I do remember the Tesla coils that were striking me were doing some pretty hefty damage. Now, again, maybe it's because my raid setup is different. I've got myself really set up to be a solo specialist. Just hardly hurting at all. Hardly hurting at all. Now, as we come towards the end of the first part, one thing I did notice about Thaddius compared to all of the other bosses that I'd fought so far was Thaddius, his health pool was colossal. He's got 30.4 million. That is Canrathad level. Canrathad being the final boss in the Greenfire Warlock questline. He's got about 31 to 34 million health, something like that. So Thaddius is Canrathad level of HP, so it does take a little while to burn them down. Whereas all the other bosses had been quite light on HPs. I think we'd been talking 7 million, 12 million maybe, you know, around that kind of level. But this was suddenly, we got a boss that was like 3 times as much. And I used to love this fight. It really was a are you awake kind of check, because you had the two polarities. You had the negative and the positive polarities. You would assign one side to be negative, you'd assign the other side to be positive, and every so often, as you'll see, Thaddius shifts the polarity like he's doing right now. And then you would have to run to whichever side your polarity was. So if you were stood at this side that I'm on now, and this side was the positive side, and I just got the negative charge there, I would have to go to the other side to join all the other people with the negative charge. Otherwise, you start to inflict massive raid damage and you wipe the raid. But of course, if you got people switching over, you'll go past each other and you'll blow each other up. So you had to assign which way round the boss to run. And we always used to assign run to the left of the boss. So if you had to swap sides, you run to the left of the boss. So on this side, I'd be going left and I'd be going behind the boss, as it was. And if I was on the other side, they'd be going in front of the boss. And the amount of people that couldn't get their left and their right together. Oi, oi, oi. You'd have some people doing it correctly. You'd have some people doing it incorrectly. Suddenly there'd be massive raid damage incoming. Oi, 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 oi. It was just one of those moments where it's just like, pay attention. Is it that difficult to get your left and your right? You know? Oi, oi, oi. But yeah, so fights like this, although they're kind of like boring in as much as I don't have to do anything because there's nobody else here for me to be worried about a polarity shift, it does conjure back all those great memories of when I used to raid, and you know, those ones which hopefully I may have in the future. Flexible raiding is certainly teasing me to go back into normal raiding because I've been absolutely loving flexible raiding so far. But Thaddius is just about to drop, please, if you don't mind, on cue, and we get a couple of achievements in the process as well. So this is the first part of the video ended, and that's the first 2 wings, one shot, Naxxramas, 25 person level of difficulty. So I hope you join me for the next part soon. Please do like, comment and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook and Twitch, and I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye bye.